My name is Joe and I work here at the Fisherman's Outfitter in Gloucester, Mass. And we do a lot of custom spooling here, send reels all over the world to catch big fish everywhere. What we have here is the Omega Gear line tensioner. It puts on hydraulic pressure up to 400 psi. Our backen's on there. Now we're going to go ahead and switch our spools and use some mono. Put the reel into free spool, pull some line off, give yourself enough to work with. And now I'm going to grab some of the splicing needles. And these needles are specifically designed for splicing monofilament to braided fishing line. And there's a different size one for each different size diameter monofilament. Okay, this here is our stainless steel splicing needle, and what it does is allows us to splice the monofilament up inside the spectra. And what I do is I heat it up, and the heat makes the mono stick inside the needle. This tool is by far worth its weight in gold. Then we take a piece of fine grit sandpaper and smooth it all out. This gets rid of all the rough burrs so it doesn't scratch the inside of the spectra and cause it to fray. You're going to take the spectra and just open it up with your fingers, insert the needle, slide it down about 6 feet, and if you poke out the side with the needle, all you have to do is just slide it right back over itself. And the common mistake people have is they want to shove the needle inside of the spectra. It's exactly the opposite. You want to push the spectra onto the needle. Poke the needle out of the side. You want to cut it at an angle. Now again, you take your fine grit sandpaper and round off all the edges. So you want to take a big leather glove and take all the slack out of the spectra on the monofilament. And to do that, take 1.5 wraps, grab it with your thumb, wrap around, and then draw backwards. This is the absolute most important part of the splice. You want to get it extremely tight. Your hand should get hot. If your hand's not getting hot, you're doing it wrong. Do it tighter. And you want to be careful not to touch the end of the mono here with the glove, otherwise you'll end up burning the mono. Now the spectra is a lot tougher, a lot more durable than mono is, so it doesn't affect it. You want to do this a bunch of times, probably 4 or 5 times. Keep that tension on there and leave about 1.5 to 2 feet off the reel. And I'm going to do here is put the glove down so I don't end up scarring up the line with the metal on the reel machine. Lock your reel up, put it all the way into full drag so the line will not pull off the reel. We're going to have this under tension the whole time we're doing this. And then do a series of half hitches. And stop right where it meets. And then find your top and your bottom and start with the top piece. And then you're just going to do a whole bunch of series of half hitches. And you want to hit it down every time you do it so it doesn't come unraveled. So basically when you do your half hitch, you take your line and make a D. If you hold it like that, you see how it's got the D, and you just wrap it around, come from the bottom, grab it, and slide it down. So if you started off from the left, next one should be from the right, and then just alternate from left to right. As I'm doing this, if you can see, this line is very, very taut. That's the whole key to this too, is keeping this line extremely tight while you're doing the splice. Otherwise, when you puck up to a fish, the line's gonna stretch and all this stuff is just gonna unravel. So you wanna make sure when you do this, it's all under tension. This line is loaded up to the max. So to end it off, what you wanna do is, instead of 1 half hitch, you wanna do 4. So you make your D again, same thing, wrap up underneath 4 times. Make it real tight. You can take a screwdriver, whatever you want to do, anything that's not sharp, and just kind of hit it and get it nice and tight so that it won't come undone. You want to cut it about 1/8 of an inch away from the actual splice. You leave yourself a little bit of a tag, and then take a lighter extremely carefully and just burn the very end. So the bottom part of the splice is the exact same thing as the top, just a bunch of repetitive half hitches alternating every single time you do it, once from the left, once from the right. After that step, you will end up with a little bit of slack in your line. So you want to take your fingers, wet them, grab it at the top of the splice that you just did, and slide your fingers down. You will see all the slack come out of there. The biggest enemy to your splice is slack, so doing it multiple times will assure you get it all out of there. So now what I want to do is find out exactly where the mono ends with the spectra. So just kind of feel up, and you will feel the difference. And so that mono is right there. Change in diameters will tell you exactly where it is. Same thing, you're gonna double it over. Start above where the mono ends. So again, find out where that mono is. Start above, loop it through itself, and then slide it down. And that'll butt right up against it and won't move. This particular splice here does not have to be that long. It's not a strength issue. It's more just to keep the mono inside the spectra. So if you do a 1/2 inch on either side of it, so your splice is about 1 inch long, you're covered. It's more than enough. And then just finish it off with your 4 hitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then lock it down. And this one you don't have to burn. You just cut it as close as you can. You don't want any heat near this part of the line. And so you do your top, and then same thing with the bottom. Just alternating 1/2 hitches. Once on the left, once on the right. And this has a lot of wax on there, so every once in a while just take the wax and rub it into the spectra. This wax basically acts like cement so that this stuff will never come undone. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. You just completed your splice. Okay, when you put the splice onto the spool, you want to start from one side and carry it over to the other side, putting it on evenly, making sure it doesn't crisscross. Now your reel's full. Now you're ready to mount it on the rod. Go catch some fish.